The EuroBasket stage has given us some incredible moments, but what we just witnessed between Serbia and Turkey wasn't just another game. It was a clash that felt almost symbolic. On one side stood Nikola Jokic, the undisputed best player in the world, the man who just redefined what a modern big man can be. On the other side, Alperen Sengun, the young center from Turkey, who has openly modeled his game after Jokic, learning from his every move, shaping himself in the image of the master. But in this showdown, the apprentice wasn't here to watch. He was here to take over. This wasn't just Serbia versus Turkey. This was Jokic versus Sengun, the best. Heading into this game, the story seemed simple. Serbia, led by Jokic, were expected to continue their dominance. They came in undefeated, armed with the best player alive, and with every expectation of steamrolling through the group stage. Turkey, a proud basketball nation, but not one expected to truly challenge a powerhouse like Serbia. They had a mix of experienced role players and young talent, but nobody thought they could truly match up with Jokic. The spotlight, though, was always going to shine on Alperen Sengun, just 22 years old, already becoming the face of the Houston Rockets, and known for his flashy passes, soft touch, and old-school post skills. Scouts and fans alike have said it for years. Sengun looks like Jokic 2.0, and that's what made this matchup so fascinating. The master against the apprentice. The player every young big man studies versus the one who might be next in line. Nobody expected what happened next. The game began with Turkey feeding Sengun in the post. Serbia made an interesting choice. No double team. They wanted Jokic to handle it one-on-one, and early on, Sengun went straight at him. A couple of pivots, soft footwork, and a turnaround jumper, bucket. Right away, Sengun showed no fear. Then came the passes. Out of the post, Sengun whipped a behind-the-back dime to a cutter for an easy layup. On the very next possession, he faced up Jokic, saw no help, and bullied his way to the rim for another score. The confidence was radiating. When Serbia sagged off, daring him to shoot, Sengun didn't hesitate. He calmly rose up and buried a three. Jokic's reaction said it all, a mix of surprise and frustration. The apprentice wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. As Sengun kept pouring it on, Jokic grew restless. He started forcing jumpers, trying to answer back quickly. On defense, he committed frustration fouls just to stop Turkey's transition. And in that opening quarter, it was Alperen Sengun who looked like the best player in the world. He was doing it all, scoring inside and out, creating for teammates, rebounding, and controlling the pace. Serbia didn't have an answer. It was shocking. For the first time in a long time, Jokic looked rattled. But champions don't stay down for long. Jokic has been through too many battles to simply let a young challenger run him off the floor. As the first quarter ended and the second began, he started to regain his rhythm. He sealed deep in the paint, using that massive frame to carve out space. With soft footwork, he hit a silky turnaround hook that only he can make look so effortless. On the offensive glass, he became relentless, snatching boards and putting back shots with ease. Then came the passing. A touch pass out of the post here, a cutter perfectly timed there. Jokic reminded everyone why he's called the best playmaking big of all time. But Sengun didn't back down. Every time Jokic scored, Sengun had an answer. A Euro step through the lane. A face-up jumper, another whip pass to a wide-open shooter. The duel was becoming mesmerizing. For every lesson the master taught, the apprentice seemed ready with a counter. By the time the second half rolled around, it was no longer just a game. It was theater. Sengun stepped into another three, holding his follow-through as the crowd erupted. Jokic came back down and buried one of his own, looking right at him as if to say, "I'm still here." On one possession, Jokic found a cutter with a no-look pass that split two defenders perfectly. Sengun answered by running a dribble handoff into a fake screen, slipping to the rim, and finishing soft at the glass. Back and forth they went, two playmaking giants at the center position, trading blows like heavyweight boxers. The storylines wrote themselves. Jokic, the three-time MVP and NBA champion, against Sengun, the young rising star trying to prove he belongs in that same conversation. And for the first time, Jokic wasn't just playing against another opponent. He was staring at a reflection of himself, a younger version hungry to take the throne. Then came the final act. The fourth quarter began with Jokic showing his championship pedigree. He disrupted a passing lane for a steal, then sprinted the floor for a quick seal, turning it into a deep post bucket. On the very next possession, he threw down a rare dunk, catching a body at the rim. But Sengun, he wasn't intimidated. He hustled for a loose ball, outworking Jokic for an offensive rebound. Pump fake, up strong, and won. The arena shook as the crowd realized Turkey might actually pull this off. Possession after possession, Sengun kept making winning plays, boxing out, threading passes to shooters, attacking whenever Jokic gave him daylight. Jokic responded with more buckets, more rebounds, more assists. But the problem was clear. Serbia needed him to be perfect. Turkey had Sengun, but they also had momentum, energy, and belief. The duel had reached its peak. Two giants trading haymakers, neither willing to give in. As the clock ticked down, it was Sengun who delivered the dagger. A tough turnaround hook over Jokic. Nothing but net. A steal at the top of the key, igniting transition. Another rebound that drained precious seconds away from Serbia's comeback hopes. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard told the story. Turkey had beaten Serbia, Serbia's first loss of the tournament. Jokic, the master, had been humbled, and Alperen Sengun, he had just announced himself to the world. It wasn't just that Turkey won, it was how they won. Sengun didn't play like a young player overwhelmed by the moment. He played like he belonged, like he was ready to go toe-to-toe with the best and win. Basketball gives us these rare moments where the past, present, and future collide. Jokic, the reigning king, still very much in his prime, went up against a young player who has studied him for years. And for one night, the apprentice didn't just keep up, he took over. Does this mean Sengun is ready to surpass Jokic? Not yet. Jokic is still the best player alive, still the one every team fears. But what this game showed is that Sengun's time is coming. For the Houston Rockets, this is a dream come true. Their young star just proved on the international stage that he can battle with the very best and win. For Turkey, it was a historic upset, one that fans will remember for years. And for Jokic, maybe it's a reminder that no throne is safe forever, because somewhere out there, a younger version is always coming. What makes this story so compelling isn't just the result, it's the symbolism. The master versus the apprentice. The reflection in the mirror, the realization that the future is already here. If this was just a glimpse of what Sengun can become, then the league, and maybe even Jokic himself, better be ready. Because the next generation isn't waiting, it's already arrived.